It's that time again. It's the Steve and Jesus show. We're back. It's round two. It was last week. I think I won that
Oh,
round.
come
I'm
on.
just
Let's
saying.
let's let's be honest. You got
I'm
crushed.
just saying.
You
I
were
think I
crushed.
won.
We
But
should
we
do a voting
thank you,
poll.
fans.
We should do
Yeah,
a
we
voting
should.
poll.
And you know I would win. You
And
know
no,
I'm the
you
fan
wouldn't. No,
favorite.
you would not. You
Let's
know I
keep it
would win.
honest.
Let's
Let's
just
be
be
honest.
exactly.
I
Let's
they
be
love
honest.
they
I
love
would
me
win.
because I'm brutally honest. You're always politically correct. I'm the
Oh,
brutally honest.
stop
All
it.
right. That's all I gotta
Stop.
say. With that being said, look, there's a lot to get into today. I'm not gonna give you guys teasers. I'm just gonna tell you straight out what we're gonna talk about. We're gonna first go into Des Bryant, Demaryius Thomas getting their contracts. Did they collude to get their contracts? Wasn't the NFLPA actually talking about going after the Cowboys and the Broncos for colluding and not giving them to a contract? We're gonna look and
Possible.
talk about that. We're also gonna talk about Jenner. Jenner winning the Courage Award. And we all know when Jesus talks Jenner or controversial
It's gonna
topics,
be
Jesus doesn't
interesting.
hold back. And then Steve has to
It's
pull me to
gonna
the
be
side after the
interesting.
show and tell me if you do that again, I'm gonna quit. So that's what I do. But that's what I do. I love to ruffle some feathers. You guys want me to be honest, and that's what I always am. With that being said, let's get right into it. Steve, as always, I'm the gentleman. I give you the floor first, then we just go back and forth. What is your feeling? Demaryius Thomas, Des Bryant signing their contracts. I mean, what's your feeling? There's rumors out there that they colluded.
And I get it because both of these guys. It's kind of funny how it turns out. It's like you have these contract talks. Daenerys Thomas, disgruntled, doesn't report, all this other stuff. And you have Des Bryant saying that he's gonna sit out the first couple of weeks. And all of a sudden, Demaryius Thomas gets his deal first, and somehow it's 70 million for over 5 years. And you're like, oh man, that's a really good contract. Like, good for him. You're happy for him, right? So then, okay, maybe what? Another week passes by. Now we're hearing like Des saying basically if a contract isn't done, he's basically sitting out all of OTAs, and he's probably sitting out the first 2 weeks of games, right? So I know fantasy people out there are getting concerned, and they're like, oh man,
They are.
what do I do with this guy? Drafts are going on now. People want to stay away from him. Cowboys fans are getting a little bit nervous. Then all of a sudden, out of the blue, wait a second. He signs for how much? $70 million over 5 years? Hmm. Who
That's
knows?
exactly right. That's
So,
exactly right.
I mean, in my honest opinion, I don't think the two guys actually colluded. What I do think happened though is their agents colluded. All right?
Yeah, yeah.
You
Okay.
can't
Fair,
you
fair enough.
can't blame the player for signing the contract. That's what the agent is supposed to do. If the agent is calling another agent who's going through the same thing, or if an agent's representing two people that are under him, of course, what else would you do? You just negotiated one contract at 70 million. Why wouldn't you do the same for your other client? Now, I don't know if they are using the same, the same agents. That I'm not 100% sure of.
No, they're
But
not.
if they're not, all it takes is if I'm representing somebody, Jesus, all I got to do is call you and be like, hey, how'd you do it? I heard you signed for 70 million. You give me some inside information, I use it to my advantage. I get my client the same exact price. So I don't think it's collusion. I just think it's the agent doing his due diligence to maximize his client's deal. I don't blame him. Get your money. I don't blame him.
All right. Are you done? Are you done?
You know I'm right.
Steve, I have so
You
much love
know
for
I'm
you. You
right.
know that. You know that. That will never change. But the problem with you is your connects within the NFL have you being too loyal,
I'm,
and sometimes because of that, you give false information because you're protecting the league. I
I'm,
get it.
I'm
I
just
understand
saying.
it.
I'm just
I
saying.
understand it. You're trying to protect the league. But let me just correct you on some information here. And
Okay.
it's not that you're wrong. It's not that you're wrong. It's just that you're protecting the league. And I get it. I get it. You
Okay.
have your connects. You have to
Explain.
protect the
Please
league.
explain.
First and foremost, Demaryius Thomas did not sign first. Secondly, Des Bryant signed first. Within 5 minutes of Des Bryant signing his contract, Demaryius Thomas signed his contract.
Hey,
So again, I understand what you're doing. And fans, make no mistake about this. It's not that Steve isn't giving his opinion because he truly believes that this is okay. He truly believes that there was no wrongdoing. The
I believe so.
problem is though is that when you have connects in the league, you have to be careful not to step on people's toes. That's where I come in. That's where the brutally honest, the straight up Jesus comes in and tells you guys exactly how it is. Fact number one, they did collude. Because you can't tell me the moment Des Bryant signs his contract, less than 5 minutes later,
Coincidence, man.
Demarius Thomas signs his
Hey,
contract for basically the exact same. They are so similar. It
but
was
again,
disgusting.
to my point, you
Yeah.
don't know if they actually colluded. All you know is they signed at the same time. This could have been done by the agents.
Yeah, no. But that's okay. I don't care who colluded. Here's my problem. A week before, the NFLPA,
Hmm.
Des Bryant's agent, Demarius Thomas' agent, were talking about going after the NFL, the Broncos specifically, and the Cowboys for colluding and not providing the contracts that Demarius Thomas and Des Bryant wanted. They were claiming that they were being lowballed with their offer because both teams were offering basically the exact same amount to each receiver, and they were saying, well, no, we should get the Calvin Johnson type of contract, while the Broncos and Cowboys were saying, well, we're not going to give you the Des Bryant contract because with the Calvin Johnson contract, because when he got that contract, that was the no cap year. That was the year when
Right.
the cap, when there wasn't a cap.
There
So
wasn't a
that
cap.
doesn't
You can
count.
give whatever.
That doesn't
Exactly.
count. So if you were threatening the Cowboys and the Broncos that they were colluding, and then you go and you collude yourself, that's where I have a problem. That's where there's a double standard. And I'm the first person to always say, you know what, I defend the players because at the end of the day, especially in the NFL, Steve, I know it's hard for you, but
Right.
just be honest, there's one thing. In the NFL, the NFL Players Association is probably the weakest out of all the
It is.
associations.
It
Players
is.
associations.
100% true.
In all
That's
sports,
fact.
I mean, you don't have guaranteed contracts. You have the franchise tag, which is just absolutely
Yeah, it's a
ridiculous
joke. It's a
because
joke.
you can get injured, and that's it. Pierre Paul, perfect
Yeah.
example. So these are the issues that I'm looking at, and I'm just saying, well, that's a double standard. I have no problem with Des Bryant and Demaryius Thomas holding out for their money because they deserve their money, but don't go crying collusion when you go then and you collude yourself. That's why I have an issue. Now, Steve, I'm going to give you a chance to go ahead and talk to the fans and explain to them why you told them Demaryius Thomas signed first a week ago. Maybe you knew something that I didn't know, and I'm going to give you that chance again because I understand that you have your connects and you have to be careful with some of the information you give.
And you're
So,
right.
fans, again, it's just Steve being protective, but I'm going to keep it. I got to keep it 100 with you guys, and I got to tell you guys exactly what it is.
So the way where I got my information is basically that the deal was pretty much locked up. It was just waiting for him to sign to finally ink the agreement. So my information was based on the deal was basically handshake agreed upon. But as you know, just like we talked about last week, until you sign it, it's a different story. So I was under the impression that basically the 70 million over the 5 years was agreed upon, and it was just waiting for Demaryius to fly in and sign the paperwork.
Now, here's my
So
question. Here's my question for you. Was it just waiting on Demarius to sign the paper, or was Demarius waiting to see if Dez got something higher so then he
it
could ask for more?
that I don't know, and
Come
there,
on now.
and
Come on now,
there could
Steve.
be
I'm putting the heat on you right
there
now.
could
I'm
be
putting the
there
heat
could
on you.
be extra stuff that's in there, but let's be honest. I look at the end of the day, I'm not saying let's be clear, Jesus. I'm not saying Demaryius Thomas and Des Bryant colluded. I'm saying their
Of
agents
course you're not.
colluded. All right, and their agents,
Listen,
because as you know, they're the ones who write the actual contract. They are the lawyers who are involved. And I honestly think they probably did some shenanigans in order to, because look at it this way. These guys get paid
they
off the
did.
deal. They get
Yes.
paid off the deal. All right. So
Yes.
that's Demarius and Dez did not collude. Their agents colluded. All right. And I'll leave it at that. I will leave it at that.
Of course, you're gonna leave it at that because you don't want to just be honest. Look,
I'm
I
being
have to
honest.
listen. I'm sorry, NFL and sources that are out there and people that I'm cool with. But when you tell me something and you give me information, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna tell the fans about it. That's my job. That's my job. Steve, I understand yours isn't specifically in that sense, so I can't knock you on it. But there's a reason why if you go on sportingdebate.com and you see, as the analyst, you see my picture there because it is my job to report this stuff.
Right.
I have to do it. I have to. So I know that I'm not going to be liked for doing it, and I know you're probably going to get ripped once we get off this show. You're probably going to get some phone calls. I'm hoping you come back next week. All right, so let's get that very clear. You better come back next week. But no, it was collusion. It's not maybe or you think.
I'm
It
not
was
saying
collusion.
maybe or I'm thinking. I'm saying it's between the agents. That's what I'm saying.
It was, but the players had something to do with it. I'm sorry, but the players had something to do with it.
The
That's
players are being represented by their lawyers who were colluding. You
so
can't blame the players. The
why?
players, all they do,
Wait,
because
I
Zeus,
can't blame the
you
players, or
know
you
this.
can't blame the players.
No,
Hold on, hold
you
on.
know
I
this.
can't, or you can't blame the
Both
players.
of us can't blame the players.
I can blame the
because-
players. I'm blaming them. I'm blaming them.
But it's
because
not
they
their
were
fault.
crying.
All they do, everybody you know, look, everybody in the business knows that you have an agent who does all this stuff for you, all right? They negotiate the terms. They go back to you and say, hey, this is what the offer was provided. Do you like it or not? No. Okay, they go back to the drawing board, all right? That's it. Everything else is between the agent. And you got to remember, people, the agent gets paid. It's like a commission when they sign these deals. Of course he's going to collude, especially if I'm your agent and I know I can get myself another $2 million on a bonus. Best believe I'm calling everybody in the league and saying, hey, what does this dude get paid?
I get that. I get that. But you cannot sit here and tell me that Des Bryant and Demaryius Thomas had absolutely no idea that their agents were talking to each other. And that's why you
Hey,
have that smirk on your face right
I'm
now
just
because
saying
you know it's
they
true.
were not involved at all.
They
It's
were
between their
absolutely
agents.
true.
That's all I'm
Look,
saying.
look, fans, at the end of the day, you can tell that, again, Steve has to be partial in this case. He's protecting. And we
I'm
can
not
all respect that.
protecting
At the end of the day, there's a reason why
not
he gets the big
protecting
bucks
anything.
and I don't get the big bucks, all right? Because he has his people. I can't hate on him for that. But again, I'm gonna tell you guys like it is. They were claiming they were gonna take him to court, the Broncos and the Cowboys, because they were colluding, and they went and they did the exact same thing. The exact same thing. That's why that smirk's on your face. But
I'm
you know
saying
what?
agents. Correct your words to say agents.
No, I
Marius
won't.
Thomas agent.
Listen,
Des
I mean,
Bryant's
I'm
agent.
gonna apologize on public air. Listen, NFLPA, I apologize right now on behalf. This has nothing to do with Steve. This is strictly my opinion. And no, this is my fact. This is the players and the Players Association and the agents' fault. This is a combination. I understand Steve won't say it for whatever reasons, but I will. This is a combination. Everyone's fault. Steve, we all respect you. We all love the work that you do. But at the end of the day,
It's the
you
agent's
cannot
fault.
sit here. You
Exactly.
cannot sit here and tell me that they had no idea what was going on.
They did not. They go in, they sign the agreement that's given to them. That's all a player does. They have no negotiating power. People forget, like, it's televised as the
So
player,
the agent's not keeping them
but
posted,
it's the
not
agent.
telling them this is what's going on currently. This is where I'm at.
Hey,
Day
all
by
I'm
day.
saying is the agent knew they were colluding. They went to the other agent. They found out what they were signed. And coincidentally, they both come in at the same time inside the deal, even though it was agreed upon with one deal in advance. So that's all I'm saying.
Listen, I could tell Steve is very uncomfortable. We can see it right now on his face.
I'm
He's
not. I'm
very,
very
very uncomfortable
comfortable.
with this.
I'm
So
very
let's go
comfortable.
ahead. Let's get to the commercial break. I'm getting the buzzing in my ear. We have to get to this commercial break. We got another controversial. I think I'm gonna make him even more uncomfortable after this next topic.
Sport and Debate is more than just a website or a podcast to me. It's a platform for all fans from the diehard to the casual to come together and embrace their love and their passion for sports. And I think that's what separates us from the rest. We love that passion and we're ready to embrace the debate.
And we're back. What a word. Gotta love that. SportandDebate.com. Check them out. They even got a picture of me up there. I feel a little special myself, I must
You're
admit.
doing big things for sporting debate, sir. We got to give it to you. I know I debate with this kid a lot, but I must say, Jesus is doing some good things. Kind of. But,
Listen, I'm just trying to catch up to you. I'm just trying to catch up to you. I'm trying to get your payroll. I'm trying to get your paycheck. That's all I'm trying to do. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into this next topic. If you guys thought Steve was uncomfortable before, wait till this topic turns up. Steve, Jenner, what's your feeling? Courage Award? Should it have been given to Jenner? Should it have not? I'm gonna give you the floor. And look at that, just the huff right there says it all.
It's because this is
Hey,
this is going into territory that I already know where this is going. But hey, let's just dive right into it because
go.
it's gonna get messy. I get what people are saying in with regards to Jenner winning the award. I mean, I get it. I get the Courage Award, and I get why people are in disagreement with it, and they would like to give it to Hill. I understand cancer patient, who has been fighting I believe it was a brain tumor, I believe. And I get why people are upset because, she tried to overcome that, and unfortunately, rest in peace, she did pass away. So a lot of people were very upset with that because she did triumph and she did play one of her favorite sports, basketball, while going through this process. But with that being said, we have seen multiple cancer patients win it before. And I normally don't agree with, and I won't say their name, but I don't agree with a lot of how they run things or pick things over there. But with this particular topic, I understand why they did it. Now, the reason why I understand why they did it exactly, and Jesus is pointing it out there, they did it because they understood the bigger aspects of it. They are trying to tap into another group of people to watch their channel. All right? And that's what I think the motive is. Do I think that they should have picked him? No, or her, excuse me. No. They shouldn't have picked her, but they picked her because of the situation, and I get that. And it's kind of one of the things where I would kind of want to know people who are transgender how they feel about that, because from what I've been hearing, there's a lot of mixed reviews. A lot of people are like, I didn't want that attention on me. It's something that I live my life by, and most of these people live their life without ever wanting anybody to know. Now, whether it be because of certain peer pressures or things like that, and that's why I get the Courage Award and why it went to her. But at the same time, you can't deny a kid who went through all the things that she went through, fought all the incredible ailments. And we're talking about an ailment. This was a choice that Jenner had. This was a choice that Jenner decided to do. And maybe they could have, incorporated both of them in some aspect, which I would have fully agreed with. But the Courage Award is fighting something when you know the inevitability of it, The beautiful thing with Jenner is people are now different in these times. If this happened in the 90s, it would have been much rough for her. Now it's more acceptable, She's not getting pelted. Even though there are haters and there are people out there who are saying their voices and whatnot, and saying the Twitter haters, the Instagram haters, so on and so forth. At the end of the day, most people are accepting of it, and even me. And I'm in the past I wouldn't have been accepted of that. Now I am, because it is a different era and a different culture, and I get that. But you can't deny a kid who's actually ailing, who's actually in pain, fighting the suffering that she has to go through, and still being able to complete and play in one of her favorite sports. I just think they got it wrong. Maybe they could have done something else to incorporate both of them, because, again, I get what they were trying to say and what they were trying to do, how we're in a different era and we should be more acceptable to those things, and I feel like we have. Gay marriage has passed as a nation. The gay community has more rights, and they have equal rights now. So it's going in the right direction, but you could have done something else for that. I get the Courage Award, but the Courage Award should have gone to that girl because she was in ailment and pain. And that's all I got to say about that. I'll turn it to you.
Of course. And right off the bat, first and foremost, I don't have any issue with what Jenner decided to announce and come out and let the world finally know. No issues whatsoever. My issue here is the Courage Award going to Jenner. First and foremost, Lauryn Hill should have won that award, hands down, no doubt about it. Lauryn Hill had a bigger battle on her hands.
Yes.
Lauryn Hill had to deal with a disease that not just took her life, and now that she's passed away, but was taking her life as she was alive. And instead of just laying down and not fighting anymore, she still fought. She still went out there. She still did what she wanted to do. I have a perfect quote here from someone who talked about Lauryn Hill when she was at practice. She did it by showing up for practice, even though turning her head made her dizzy and left her physically spent. She appeared in 4 games, making 5 layups before the tumor's effects forced her to stop.
Yeah.
She, no matter what, she still went out there. She still practiced. She still did everything she could to achieve that. Again, that's like what Stuart Scott went through last year.
Yeah.
You know, Alvano years ago.
Yeah.
You know, the Jimmy V Foundation. It's just something like the battle, the war that takes. Again, I'm not taking away from the battle that Jenner had to deal with in the mental, from a mental standpoint.
Yeah.
Because that absolutely puts a drain on you.
It does.
But
exactly.
to compare that drain to the drain of what cancer can do to you and dealing with chemo and the tumors, it's just there's no comparison.
And
my big
and one thing I do want to add, you know, not to cut you off, Jesus, is, you know, the difference also with Jenner is she was dealing with it on her own, okay? Whereas what people forget is what Hill had to deal with is it wasn't just her dealing with this ailment. It was her family. It was her friends. It was her coaches. It was the people around her. You know, Jenner I believe, publicized that, you know, a lot of this was kept inside. And yes, it's a lot of burden for one person to deal with all their life, knowing that they really should be this other person. And I totally get that. But at the end of the day, that didn't affect the family. You know, she still had her family, you know, at the time. She still had a very successful family. You know, with this girl, though, her family was feeling that. They were in pain watching her be in pain, you know, and unfortunately, that family doesn't have her anymore, you know, whereas the Jenner family, they still have her, you know, they still get to enjoy her. So again, not to discredit anything that Jenner has done and not to discredit what ESPN is trying to do. At the end of the day, I know I said it, but at the end of the day, it should be, you know, it should have went to Lauryn Hill and the situation she went through.
At the end of the day, to, you know, take that last part of that you said, it was money. Money ruled it all. And here's my problem with Jenner winning it. Okay, it was a money thing. That's all that it was. At Lauryn Hill, if just research how much money she made for cancer research. See how much money went to charities because of her.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's go to Jenner's side of it. Jenner's made a lot of money, a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But Jenner coming out took a lot of courage. But it would have taken more courage to come out and live your life. But now you're coming out and you're coming out with a TV show and you're doing public appearances and you're doing commercials. That's where I have a problem with it. And I'm going to take the fault. And I'm sorry, Stephen Gahan, for putting you on this. But that's where I have an issue. Because what is that? I start to wonder, why did you finally choose to come out now? For what reason? Is it because the Kardashian show finally ended for you? You were no longer part of that show and funds were running low? Is that why you chose to do what you did? Because if that is, then shame on you, Jenner. Shame on you. Because if you chose for the right reasons because you just wanted to live your life, then I have no issues with you announcing that at that point. But if you simply did it because you wanted to come out to make that money, to come out with the show, to have that, I believe it was 2020 interview. I'm not sure, and I apologize if I'm wrong if it wasn't that specific show. But you know, to make that announcement, I have a major issue. I have an absolute major issue with this, because this screams, if we're just looking at it from the outside, this screams money all over it. It screams money all over it. And again, that company, that Disney company, I will say, that Disney company, in this case, what they did was they saw dollar signs and they went with what's hot as opposed to what was right. And that's where they dropped the ball. And I will never do that. Again, I may lose my job for the stuff that I say sometimes, but I'm going to be honest. Again, there's nothing wrong with announcing that you're transgender.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. And we commend that. But
yes.
But the award was for something bigger. And I'm not saying that's not big. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I'm saying it should have went to a person who affected multiple people, who had an ailment, who was physically ill,
Yep.
whose family would miss them because of this ailment. That's why we all fell in love with the Stuart Scott, story.
Absolutely.
Not to say we're not falling in love with the Jenner story, but we knew Stuart Scott's time was limited. We all knew that. We all knew his people. We were captivated by it. All of us were wishing the best for him, and we still do. We still wish the best for his family. But that was a deserving award because he was going through the ailment, he was going through the pain, and he was still showing up on that TV screen giving us the news, The difference with Jenner is even though it did take courage, like you said, Jesus, to come out, it didn't have the same impact because, we know Jenner will be there if healthy. If she's healthy and everything's great, we will see Jenner for years to come. We'll see her throughout this story. You could have given it to her the following year or the year after that.
I was just about to say that because you were saying, you did say that that you didn't think that award should have gone to Jenner. I do agree that it shouldn't have gone to Jenner, but I think to specify, if Lauryn Hill's story didn't happen this year, and there was no other story out there, I have no
Exactly.
issue
Makes
with Jenner
sense.
winning this award
Exactly.
because then again that takes a lot of courage to do what Jenner did.
Exactly.
But there was something more genuine. There was a better story out there, something more. I'm sorry to say, more genuine. Not that Jenner's story wasn't genuine, but one can say it would have been even more genuine had there not been so much money involved in this whole situation.
Right.
That's where I have an issue, is the money that seems to be being made because of all this.
Right.
It makes my skin crawl.
Right.
With that being said, Steve, we have like a minute left. I mean, just clarify, to the fans out there, why you feel Lauryn Hill and her family were done wrong in this case.
Yeah, I mean, they were done wrong because this was a girl who, at the end of the day, was fighting an ailment and was dealing with pain, everyday pain, and everyone had a sense and a feeling that she would not make it out of this. Brain tumors are very serious cancers that are out there, and she still fought through that and still played the game she loved. Jenner is an icon, and what he did or she did or he did at the time, was amazing, in American sports. But you're dealing with a kid who's now left this earth and has made a lasting impression on many people. You could have done the same thing with the Jenner story next year, and it would have had the same effect. That's all I'm saying.
And here's what I'm going to say. Shame on you, Disney company, because you went out and you made money on the Jenner story with this whole ESPYs and Courage Award. But a couple months back, you also went out there and you made money on this Lauryn Hill story. That's not right. You did it for the wrong reasons. You should be ashamed of yourself. And I just hope that you're able to look at yourself in the mirror, because there's a family out there that deserved this, and you did it wrong just because you wanted to go ahead and make that extra dollar. I hope that makes you feel better, and I hope you can sleep at night, because you should absolutely be ashamed of yourself. To Lauryn Hill and her entire family, God bless.
Rest in
Prayers
peace.
and thoughts are always with you, and absolutely rest in peace. With that being said, that's our show. We don't need to say anything further. Everybody stay safe, be safe. We're out. Peace.